Greetings, Inquisitors. Welcome to the Holocron. This is the week 104 update for the Darth Loquitur account. That makes 2 years. 2 years of the Darth Loquitur account. I do weekly updates on this account. Talk about the character upgrades, ship upgrades, plans for the future, things that might be interesting for you about the game, my opinions and thoughts. Please leave your comments down below. What you think about all this. Always happy to hear from you guys. All right, let's get into it and let's see what happened in the account in week 104. Now, this is not a relic week, so we're between targets. We're working on Jyn Erso for next week. But we've got a few other upgrades we can do here. We get Captain Han, another star. We get First Order Stormtrooper to 7 stars. We can take him off the farming list now. Go away, buddy. We'll work on him later. We do want to build up the finalizer fleet in the background. It's kind of a little side project we're working on, so I'll keep chipping away at that. All right, we're going to lock down these pieces on Biston. And we're just a few gear pieces away here. This is a part that costs 15 crystals per piece. So we're going to go ahead and take Biston to gear 12, spend some crystals on that. We're trying to make Grief Karga a little faster. We're trying to speed up this bounty hunter team that we've got. So we're going to be able to give him a couple gear tiers. Take him up to gear 10, speed him up just a little bit. And hopefully that'll be enough to get that team where we need it to go on speed. Taking a look at a bunch of different characters here, trying to figure out the very best use for my Carbantes for the week. As always, we've got a few Carbantes and we have to think very carefully about where to put them. And so putting them on Chewbacca, getting him built up. We're starting to have a little CLS team here, so building that up in the background as well. We've seen that in Grand Arena already, just with a Gear 12 CLS and some other these other guys at low gear. We've been getting some work done in GAC, so I think it's worth investing in that team. Just keep taking a look at these different characters. In the end, we start to work on this Hoth Rebel Scout. So we will take him up, start his skills, and later on, I don't think it's within this video, but I do put mods on him and get him ready to be part of the team when he needs to be. We're going to lock down some pieces here on Vandor Chewbacca. Again, we're building the Profundity journey. We're going to have a Relic Dash Rendar pretty soon. We do want to build up Vandor and L3 to go with that team. I'm probably going to Relic Vandor. We'll try him at first, just at like Gear 12, but and see if that can be used on offense. If I put him on defense, then I need the Vandor to be Reliced to make that team a little tougher to deal with. So we work on L3 a little bit there. TIE Echelon, we've been farming that in the background on fleets, 7 stars on that. And I'm thinking about putting it up to 85 here, and then I'm looking at my shipbuilding materials, and I'm thinking I probably need to start saving for that Profundity, you know, get like 10 million credits in the bank and just leave them there, you know, so we always get plenty to work on the capital ship when we get to it. Outrider, we can go ahead and put the last skill on the Outrider, and it's just about ready to go. 5 more shards. Now, I did talk about buying carbonite circuit boards and bronzium wiring from these packs that cost 500. So I did do that. And then I got the payout for the territory battle, and I went back in and I bought these packs a second time. And something happened with the video, and it just recorded like blank for a second. So it didn't record me getting the second set of carbonite packs, but I did buy a second pack of carbonite circuit boards and a second pack of bronzium wiring. So I spent 2,000 crystals in that shop. If you've been watching my account updates, that's something that the account's been struggling with. I've reliced a lot of characters here recently, and trying to keep up with those relic materials, bronzium and the carbonite, has been difficult. So we're trying to buy them out of the shop, supplement that way a little bit, and see how that works out for us. All right, week 104, 2 years of the Darth Loquitur account. Galactic powers, 5.09 million. Added 20,000, not much added GP this week. 50 relics, 64 Zetas. JMK's in the top 10, Executors top 5 in fleet. And Jyn Erso for next week on relic, working on that profundity journey. The energy is same as last week. Radis, Scion, 50 RT, Fennec Shan. Probably going to add in Wicket. If you get a 7-star Wicket, it unlocks an event on Endor Escalation that gives you an extra 2 Zetas every time it comes up. So 2 Zeta mats every month isn't bad. In fleet, we're working on the Outrider and Ravensclaw. Signal data for Cantina. Speed and defense on Mod Energy. 3 refreshes a day when we can get it. Buying gear out of the squad store. Fleet store, we're finishing up the last few things, and feeding the shard shop. All right, let's take a big long trip down memory lane, and let's take a look at the 2 years of play on this account. So it started on the 24th of October 2020, and this 2-year update will be on the 24th of October 2022. So I started this account. I had a main account at the time, and I thought, man, if I were to build another account, what would I do differently? And back then, galactic power mattered, especially for Grand Arena. You wanted to keep your galactic power low. So I thought about what I would do. I wanted it to be a fun account to play, focused on doing well in fleet and Grand Arena, and basically saying I don't care what I get in Squad Arena. Like all the guys that were spending money would come into the game and buy big squads for Squad Arena, and I said I'm not going to play that game. I'm just going to skip out on Squad Arena. Don't care. All right. And then not long after I started the account, the CG announced they'd be doubling the shard drops on nodes. And that's really when I decided to start documenting my account's progress on YouTube. So that was when the channel was born. So the concept is that, at least my thought at the time was, hey, new players or maybe someday somebody would want to say, how did you build this account? And I could go back and say, okay, this is how I did it. Just go back and watch. And I didn't plan at that time to do weekly updates, but that's how it ended up being. All the way back then, here's my plan. My plan was to make efficient use of energy gems and the currency in the shops, optimize for fleet arena, and then buying Zeta materials. At the time, I thought that was a big focus, to get fleet arena currency to buy the Zeta materials. Minimize the galactic power by building fewer characters, and maximize the GAC potential by building solo characters like Vader, Enfys Nest, things like that, and build toward early legendaries. I guess at this time Vader wasn't really much of a solo character. So I had these teams that I planned to build, some kind of Sith team that I was going to put together. The Geos, Rebels working towards CLS, an Imperial Trooper team, some kind of team with Jedi. And then I had Boba Fett at the time. Boba Fett could kill a lot of teams by himself. Bosk, Jango Fett, characters like that could make a small team. And you could get Vader, Enfys Nest, characters like that to do small teams or solos. So that was the plan. At 9 weeks in, I was at level 78. I got the Zeta unlock. And about the same time, I figured out that the CLS team, the amount of resources it was taking for everything else I was trying to do, I had to give something up. And I did end up giving up the CLS journey. So a little bit of a timeline. 13 weeks was level 84. Put my first Zeta on the Geo Brood Alpha. Got level 85 on day 95. At 18 weeks, my first relic was a Snow Trooper. 21 weeks, we relicked a Geo Spy, and that's when I changed guilds. 25 weeks, we got a Padme team and got in the top 50 with that. The next week, we got Relic Vader. And then we earned a Watt shard. It took a while from the time I built my geos till the time I actually earned my first Watt shard. That's interesting. We unlocked Wat Tambor in week 32. Finished Houndstooth in week 39. Got Enfys Nest built. On week 51, we had all the sea requirements met, and the event was started. I really wanted to have the Sith Eternal by week 52, but couldn't quite get there. They ran a free event for cat shards on light side nodes, so I couldn't farm my dark side nodes to get the Sith Eternal because I obviously wanted to optimize the amount of free cat shards that I could grab up. So basically we got Sith Eternal Emperor right at 1 year. On week 57 we got his alt done. Also got Jedi Knight Revan unlocked. Qui-Gon Jinn was our first Omicron in week 59, then Zam, and then Iden. Week 73, we actually finished out our cat. I'd been purchasing her with crystals all along. Week 79, just 1 week after the 1.5 year mark, we got JMK, took him straight to R8. And then got the alt done in week 82. And then after the alt was done, I was number 1 in Squad Arena. Week 83 was the great bloat of 2022, where I kind of looked at the account. I was around 3.5 million, and I had the sudden realization that it was pretty dumb not to just go ahead and get to 4 million so that I could qualify for hard conquest and start making inroads into these new characters that they were introducing through hard conquest. So we fattened up the account and went for 4 million. In week 84, we committed to the Executor journey. Week 91, we finished that out. And week 93, we committed to Profundity. Week 93, we built the Executor at 5 stars. We built up the Wampa and some clones. And on week 102, we had the first cam mission. And that brings us pretty much to current. So big journeys, we've got the Sith Eternal Emperor, the Jedi Master Kenobi, and the Executor finished in this account within 2 years. And I'd say halfway to Profundity. So we're halfway to the next journey. Taking a look at the GP, I was tracking it pretty carefully those first half a year. We were averaging 30,000 galactic power a week, but remember, we were trying to control the galactic power and do as little galactic power with as much impact as possible. So the goals were a little different back then. In that first year, second half of the year, we averaged 35K for the whole first 52 weeks. In the second half of the year, 54 through 78, we averaged 57,000 galactic power per week. Definitely increased the rate of galactic power gain. And then for the last half a year, for week 79 through 104, our average has been 66,000 galactic power per week. So again, ramping up the continue to accelerate the progress of the account. The mods at 1 year, we ran a mod score. We had 4 mods that were over 25 speed or higher. And for 20 or higher, we had 20 mods. And a mod score of 4.7 on the Omega, a top 80 at the time because of where I was. Or I should say how GAC was at the time. At 78 weeks, we'd only added 1 more top speed mod. And we'd added a bunch more at 20 plus speed. So we had 5 at the top end and 42, and a mod score of 5.8. All right, so at 104 weeks this week on my 2-year anniversary, we're up to 11 mods at 25 plus. So we added 6 in the last half a year, and we're up to 59. We've added 17 in the last half year for that 20 plus category. My mod score for the Omega has only gone up to 5.95. We're very close to 6. So we added about 0.2 there. But if you look at the top 110, we're at 7.2, and that's 1.1 better than last time. And the reason for the discrepancy there, there has been a lot of progress, and the account's gone from needing a few teams to needing 22 teams in Grand Arena. I've had to mod a lot of characters, And we've kept a lot of pretty mediocre mods. So a lot of stuff in that 9, 10, 11 range, mods that I tried to slice that didn't work out. You'll see that there's a huge peak now in the mod score, right around that 9, 10, 11 range on the chart. So we're modding a whole lot of characters with mods that if our progress was slower and galactic power was still being managed, then we wouldn't have even kept those mods. But yeah, to expand the roster out and get mods on those characters, we've had to kind of accept some lower quality mods. Interesting. So overall, 7.1 mod score for top 10 is pretty good. I am really not entirely satisfied with the mod progress in the last 6 months. I focused a lot on getting mods to 6 dot and slicing, and I really kind of had periods where I just wasn't farming enough mods anymore because I was trying to do things with slicing. And you can kind of see that the progress really isn't where I wanted it to be. So with the new mod nodes, then I again diverted to slicing materials. And it's really time to get back to making sure that I'm farming those mod nodes, getting plenty of mods into the account, getting plenty of looks at new mods, and increasing that mass of the good mods between 10 and 20 speed. Once I'm done with profundity, and I need a bunch of Cantina characters for the JML journey. When I get free crystals again, I think I'm going to go to the 100 refreshes on mods. I'm going to try to get that strategy in place, hopefully within the next half year before the 2.5 year review. Zetas are in good shape on my main account. I did spend quite a bit of money, getting that count ahead at first. And the account progressed very fast, and I was always way ahead of the Zetas. I was like always 15 to 20 Zetas behind where I needed to be on the main account. The Loquitur account feels really balanced. So with kind of the free-to-play strategy, the rate at which I relic characters works nicely with the rate at which the Zetas develop. So I'm much more satisfied that as I'm building teams, I always have the Zetas to put on them. So that's a pretty good feeling. And I think the Zetas are balanced right now. I think I've got the ones that I need. I don't feel like I'm behind. I've got a few in the bank if I needed them. It's a pretty comfortable spot to be. Non-journey relics. So if you look at this account, we've been on journeys pretty much the whole time. So we've built Sith Eternal, we've built JMK, went into the Executor, and pretty much right into the Profundity after that. With each one of these journeys, I'm only building a few non-journey relics. Like I did Snowtrooper, Spy, and Nest during the initial ramp up to Sith Eternal. Then after I got Sith Eternal done, I went right into JMK, and I believe during the JMK cycle, I relicked 5s, and I think that's the only non-journey relic that I did in that cycle. Then after we got JMK, of course, we had to do Commander Sokotano, Beskar Mando, and the Dark Trooper. We did those while we were building the Executor. And then I took a little bit of a break, and we did 501st clones. I had 3 clones left to relic in the Wampa, and then we're going into the Profundity journey. So with each journey, I'm doing let's say an average of 3 relics in between journeys. So it leaves my account in this interesting position where I've got these main journeys, and I've got fill teams, but I'm missing a lot of the sort of good meta teams. Like I don't have gas, I don't have the Revens built up to relic level in this account. So it's interesting, and it's something that I've been thinking about, like what's the right thing to do next. And I think I'll just keep building GL. So after the Profundity, I think I'll go into Jedi Master Luke. And then once we've got the 3rd GL, probably go for a 4th. And then maybe at 4 GLs, it'll be time to go back and fill in some of the gaps, get the Revens going. I don't know. So still some strategizing that I have to do for the future. But I do like this idea that, do a limited amount of relics in between your journeys. Makes it easier to get focus on your next big journey, and you can fill in some of your teams that you might need for CPIT or other things. So in terms of account satisfaction, we've been playing this account for 2 years, and I get the question from people, hey, are you happy with the account? Do you like it? Or questions like that. And I will say that publishing the results on the internet every week does make for some interesting choices, because really, even like with the characters that I put gear on, if I put some gear on Vandor Chewbacca, and it wouldn't surprise me if I get some comments from people saying, hey, you shouldn't have done that, or you should have done something different, or why didn't you put that on the Ewoks to try to get your C-3PO journey done? Like doing these journeys and upgrades publicly does make the choices interesting. So overall, from my own standpoint, how satisfied am I? So let's take a look. I mean, the account's in Kyber at 5 million galactic power. I can get first in fleet. I can get first in squads. I can get box 5 in hard conquest. I've got good participation in dark side TB. Still pretty mediocre participation in light side. Of course, the Kenobi team does well, and I've got a second team that does well with the clones. But overall, I do wish I had more participation over there. In Territory Wars, I don't have a high quantity of teams, but I do have some high quality stuff with the JMK team and the Mara Jade team and some other stuff that I can help with in TW, so that's pretty good. The lack of the non-GL teams and counters really does start to catch up with you in Grand Arena, so that's maybe not something on the positive side. And for where I'm at in GAC, only having 2 GLs is starting to become a problem. So it's something I'm thinking a lot about. How is it better to try to solve this with meta teams or GL teams or what? And I think GLs are just in a class of their own, and especially with Datacrons, we can expect that the Datacrons are often going to hit the Galactic Legend characters. And I think, having more GLs is really a key to more success in Grand Arena. So I think that's the way to go. I still think so. So in my last rating, I'd rated it like 98 out of 100. This time around, I'm rating it 92 out of 100. The satisfaction has fallen off a little bit, and basically for 2 reasons. So the first is, with the changes in Grand Arena, I had 2 fleets, and I started to expand out to 4. I rose very quickly through Chromium and Rhodium, and ended up, touching into Kyber, where I need 6 fleets. And so for the last half year, I've just been chasing fleets, just constantly been trying to build fleet stuff. And it makes me feel like I've missed out on some other opportunities, and maybe I should have just left the fleet stuff alone and just said, okay, build more character stuff and try to hold down zones based on characters in GAC. But needing 22 teams on offense, or needing all the teams that I need for offense, and still trying to put down a good defense for a team for an account of 5 million isn't going to work. So I've really second guessed how much effort I've put into fleets and whether or not that's needed. So overall, I think maybe a better way to put it is I do wish that I'd gone for JMK and Executor in a different order. After I finished C, I was really anxious to get that JMK. I went for that. And I did have the decision there to go for the Executor or JMK. I picked the Galactic Legend, and I do kind of wish that I'd picked the Executor. I got pushed out of top 5 in fleet for about 10 to 12 weeks and lost a bunch of crystal income. So I do kind of wish that I'd done that the other way around and put the Executor ahead of the second Galactic Legend. So, that takes the edge off of my rating a little bit. And then just because Sith Eternal is really not good in hard conquest, it leaves me, I won't say I can't do hard conquest, but it's a challenge. I struggle to get box 5 cleanly. I can do it, but it takes a bit of work. And I feel like if I had any other GL other than Sith Eternal, then Conquest would be that much easier because I would have a second good team. The reason I really can't use C in hard Conquest, he can beat almost any node in the game, but he won't beat it with 3 stars. And if you leave a bunch of 1 and 2 star wins all the way up, if you do that 20 times during the course of a conquest, that's 40 stars that you have to make up somewhere. And that can be the difference between you getting the box you want or not. So for me, I feel like, now, and again, at the beginning of the count, there's no way that I could have known because Conquest wasn't even a thing. So, I mean, the basis for the account certainly didn't have Conquest in mind. But looking back over my shoulder and, again, advising people who are starting accounts or building them now, when you get to 4 million, you definitely want to have enough power that you can get good participation in there. So just some thoughts. And then I did kind of slack off a little bit on the mods. So yeah, I think overall still very happy with the account, but a couple things that I probably would have done differently. Put the executor fleet ahead of JMK, and kept more focus on farming mods instead of trying to do things with slicing. All right, so I still think that having at least 1 GL and 1 mega fleet very early in your account are still the right thing to do. The second GL makes a huge difference in both GAC and Conquest. And then after 2 GLs and 1 fleet, there is, I think, an opportunity to build some non-GL teams. But then you're going to want 2 more GLs in the other, mega fleet. So Profundity and Executor and 4 GLs, and then pretty much from there you can do whatever you want in the game, and whether it's meta teams or more GLs or whatever. But I think that's kind of the formula to take and hold Kyber. So 2 GLs and 1 mega fleet will get you to Kyber, and then you need another 2 GLs and another fleet to get high in Kyber, like Kyber 2 or Kyber 1. So that's it for my 2-year anniversary review, trip down memory lane, kind of summaries, what I think of the account, what I would do differently. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Have you been entertained by this journey that we've been on with the Loquitur account? Have you learned anything from it? Have you learned what to do? Or, in some cases, has my account building taught you what not to do? And I set a bad example that you learned to avoid. Share your stories down below. Love to hear it. That's the 2-year account review. Thank you all for watching. I do appreciate each and every one of you. So if you could hit that like button on the way out, if you didn't hit it on the way in, I would appreciate that. Subscribe to see more like this in the future. And of course, join us over on the Discord. We've got a fantastic Discord community. A lot of good players over there hanging out, having fun. So hope to see you over there someday. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next Holocron.